The transgender group of people are often called two spirits. That's a term that came from Native American culture. And it was chosen because the old word, which was burdash, is considered detrimental or a slander to two spirit people. So two spirit people are the gay and transgender people. And in over 150 tribes, they are medicine people. They are people very much honored and looked up to in the tribal society. So it is a way to empower or take on the positive aspects of being transgender. That coming into the world as a transgender person, there are personal lessons to that, to learning the polarities of being male and female. But there's also the public lesson of being in service to others, of supporting, of being a pioneer, of showing people that gender is a very wide spectrum. It's not just one side of being male and the other side being female, but it's an evolution towards being balanced, being androgynous, finding that middle point, owning our characteristics, which are both male and female. Because on the spirit side, as spirits, when we're not embodied, we have no gender. We have all the characteristics of male and female. But when we incarnate down here, we're usually one or the other. But when you come in as a transgender person, you really get a vivid picture of what it means to be male and female because you've lived both lives in one lifetime. It's very vivid and a huge step in the soul's evolution. I believe in the purpose of having duality or polar opposites is to learn the differences between things, but in the learning of the differences, you eventually work your way to the middle, that balance point, where you can draw on the characteristics of both polar opposites. To me, the soul, when it's not embodied, is perfectly balanced, has all characteristics from polar differences. And the whole point of learning is you might have a whole lifetime as one end of a spectrum, but as you progress through your lifetimes, you work towards the middle. So the older souls are very androgynous, very balanced, often really not prominent members of society because they're off doing their own thing now. They don't really need other people to feed off of. They know their individual path, very balanced. I'll clarify a couple terms that we're using and that some people may believe are interchangeable, but are actually independent. So one is being transgender, which is coming into a physical body that doesn't match what I call the energetic body or the identity of being male or female. There's also gender fluid people coming in now. This is like a recent movement of people, souls coming onto the planet that don't want to be either gender, male or female, not identify as either binary system, and then quite often will change. One day they want to be male and the next day they'll be female, so they're very fluid. And then you have the third aspect of it, which is sexual orientation, which is who you're attracted to. Are you attracted to males or females or both, or are you attracted to those in the middle, being like pansexual? It doesn't really matter what the gender is, but it's the energy of the person. So sexual orientation is independent of gender identity. They're two independent things, but yet there's a big link there. And that link is that quite often transgender people will change their sexual orientation as they transition through from one gender identity to the other. And we're not quite sure what that link is yet, but there's a definite link. I know from my own personal experience, I actually consider myself to be a force spirit because I have lived as a female for the first half of my life. I've been with men and with women sexually. And then when I transitioned to a male, I've also been with men and women. And so being bisexual in both genders is really an aspect of four different spirits coming together in one perspective. So what I've learned from being bisexual, if you will, and in two different genders is that there is a point of balance, because I have gone from one extreme to another. I tried to live the way I was taught I should be as a female with the male in the female body, and that didn't work. And then as I transitioned into puberty and adulthood, I became attracted to women. And then as I moved through my transition to a male, I became very attracted to men, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, how does this track? And then later in life, becoming interested in women again. And so coming to the realization finally, as a mature adult, that it doesn't really matter who the person is, what sex or biological sex they are, but it's really the energy that I'm attracted to and that I fall in love with. And so that brings me to a point of balance. And I also think that I don't truly identify as being typically male now that I'm in a male body, but that I have characteristics of both male and female. So let's say I clean the house, I mow the lawn, I prepare my dinners, I decorate the house, I work on the car. I have all the male and the female aspects. And I'm really thinking of it as a huge gift, because I feel that my emotional capabilities are those of female, which to me is a much deeper and more open hearted kind of way of being. And so I can use that plus draw on the power of being the male and bring those together in a synthesis that's just a beautiful gift. I think one of the greatest tools now that I have from being transgender and my past experience, and something that I can use in my work, is my empathy. So having experienced life in so many different aspects, I can pretty much relate to almost anything somebody tells me. Furthermore, anything anybody tells me is not going to shock me. And so I use this as a tool in my healing, and I know just from experience what types of things were missing when I was going through transition. And so those are the types of services I would like to be able to provide for other people coming behind me. And those are honoring the transition, honoring the path, doing the affirmations, doing the manifesting of what you want, coming to know who you are. And so through soul retrieval, bringing back those pieces of the soul that have been lost in the traumatic experiences of not being accepted, of being full of shame, of taking on these characteristics of being the black sheep or not fitting in, bringing in the pieces of the physical body that you would like through retrievals, those secondary sexual characteristics that are so desirable, to bring those in, integrate them, bringing the energetic body into alignment with the physical body, clearing the chakras and the auras, getting a client up to speed on their protection so that they can feel comfortable moving in the world. These are a lot of the types of things that I work with clients. Also creating a personal spiritual belief to help walk with you as you go through your life, as you follow your life path. Identifying that path and then creating the ceremonies and the rituals and the beliefs outside of organized religion, but something that's going to be there with you every morning when you wake up, when you go to sleep at night. These things, knowing that you're supported by the spirit world, all of these things are gifts that I would like to share with people who are trying to find their way in the world.